you. First item is recognition of all state cross country runners. Craig Levitt. Craig, welcome. Front and center.
We're off to the side. Hey guys, I'd like to introduce Nathan Stevenson to you. Nathan's been a runner for us for about 3 years now in cross country. I first met him in a class, and he was sitting in class and we were talking about track, and he's like, he was telling me his mile time. I was like, Nate, that's really fast. You want to join cross country? He goes, well, I'm in football. I said, well, maybe next year. So next year coming around, he comes out for the next couple of years and does pretty well. He was all conference last year. And this year, his goal was to be all state. So I called him in the middle of the summer and I said, hey, this is it. I don't know what you're doing, but you got to start training now. And he showed up to the next practiced the rest of the summer. I don't know if he noticed that something was a little different this year. This year we had some ambition. So we were my goal was to get him up to 50 miles a week and throw some workouts at him that were just absolutely crazy. So I remember the middle of the season, we're getting to where we get to like these big mileage workouts. And, he's doing one long run a week. It's about 12 miles. We go down to this park. It's about 2 miles away from the school. And so Nate's going, what are we doing today? I said, well, we're going to do some 800s. And he goes, how many? I was like, you don't want to know, just start. So we get a few in and he goes, no, really, how many? I was like, we're doing 14. He kind of looked at me and he goes again, because it's out of time. He goes, gets back and he goes, Coach, that's like 7 miles. I ran 2 miles down here, 2 miles back. It's like 11 miles a day. Yeah, Nate, that's 11 miles. Hard work. He goes, that's a lot. Yeah. I thought you wanted to be all state. So, Nate comes into conference and he's ranked somewhere around the top 10. We think he's somewhere between 7 and 14. I said, bud, just get in the top 10, try to stay there. First mile comes out and Nate's in 4th and he stays there the whole race and just finishes tough. He was one of 21 kids to ever break the 17-minute mile of 5K barrier. And, that's a big achievement. So the week after we had state, and I told Nate, well, you ranked about in 7th place. So let's get in the top 10 for the first mile, see if he can stay there. So again, he comes out in about 4th place, except this time he goes through the first couple miles, and about a quarter of a mile left of the race, Nate kicks it into gear, passes the 4th place kid. And, at the time we're thinking, oh, geez, he's got it. He's got it today. And sees the 2nd place kid start falling behind, and he speeds it up and passes the 2nd. And we couldn't believe, he got 2nd place. So he has had several years of hard work, one heck of a season. He's been running. We got up to over 50 miles a week, which is, for a high school kid, that is phenomenal. And I just say he worked really hard this year to get into this race and to do well. And this week he's got NXR, but have both all conference and then come back and go even faster at all state. He's the 8th fastest kid that has ever ran for Green River High School. So congratulations, Nate.
Congratulations. Good job. Next item is recognition of all state swimmers. Colleen Seeloff. Coach, welcome back. Congratulations on another great season.
Thank you.
Don't tell my boss, but I watched that pretty much all day Friday.
Did you? I won't tell your boss. Did you watch the 400 free relay? Did you get to see that?
The last
The
one?
last relay.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Wasn't that awesome?
That baby was over with halfway through the first lap.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Is everybody okay? All right. First off, I want to thank you guys for letting me come and talk to you guys about my awesome team. These guys took 2nd this year. We had an unfortunate happening at the very first event, but I have to tell you that these girls, they said, okay, it happens, and they just kept going, and they just kept fighting. And I'm just really proud of their accomplishments this year, and just very proud of the way that they were at state. You know, it's hard sometimes when something happens that you don't expect to, and it's hard, you know, kind of to keep yourself up. But these girls did that and just kept fighting to the end. And if you did get a chance to watch, we had an amazing ending to our meet, and so we were very excited. And so, you know, they did take second, but we're really proud of that. So, did a great job this year. So. I wanted to thank some people real quick too. First off, my coaches. I got Coach Katie over here. I got Coach Barker. I'm going to talk about him in just a minute. And then we got Coach Al that works on the club program. Does an awesome job. He actually volunteers his time and helps us out. And these guys have just worked really hard this year. So I want to make sure I thank them. And then of course, we always have to thank our pool people, because without them, we wouldn't be able to be there and working so hard. So we have to thank them too. So with that, I'm going to get started. I got lots to talk about. I figured if Levitt talked about Nathan that long, I probably got about 2 hours. So just sit down and get ready, because I got a lot to say. No. Okay, I'm just kidding. All right. So we had 13 girls that made it to state this year. And the first one that we have is Chesney Rubeck. Chesney, kind of come on up here real quick. Chesney was all conference in her 2 events at conference in the fly and the 50 freestyle. Qualified in those 2 events, went to state, did a great job, is a captain of our team, and has just been awesome leading us this year. So we're really proud of everything that she's done. So she's been, you know, a really important leader of our team. So thanks. Let's see. Then we got Courtney Clark. Where you at, Courtney? Okay, so Courtney was 4th at state in the 200 freestyle, was 2nd at state in the 500 freestyle, and earned all conference honors. Was in the top 6 at conference. Won the 500, right? At conference. Okay, she won both at conference. Sorry, she won both at conference and took 2nd at state in the 500. Did an awesome job and was part of our 400 freestyle relay that broke a state record. So she did a great job for us. So all state, all conference honors. Nice job. Next we have Haley Clevenger. Haley, all conference honors in her events. Girls pretty much swam the same events at conference as they did at state. Haley placed 5th in the 200 freestyle, placed 4th in the 500 freestyle. Cut a bunch of time. It was pretty fun. Was part of our 400 freestyle relay. Again, that broke the state title. So earned all conference, all state honors. So did an awesome job this season. Did a lot of work outside of season, as many as these girls did. And so very proud of her. So next I have Brianna Urich. Brianna, again, all conference. Won the 100 breaststroke at conference. So she earned all conference at state. She earned all state by getting 2nd in the 100 breaststroke and 4th in the 200 IM, swimmer lifetime best, and was, you know, an important part of our other 2 relays. But and she got a chance to swim in the 200 free relay on prelim night, and then you know, just did an awesome job, all state, all conference, and it's pretty cool. So did a great job. We have, let's see, Olive Roberts. So Olive placed 6th in diving this year. Really came up on the 2nd day. I tell you, these divers were just amazing. The 2nd day moved up and did an awesome job. Was also all conference and diving, and just, I think you were. Oh, shoot, I lied. Okay. All right. Did an awesome job. Ended up doing really well at state too, and earning some great points and diving really well. So good job. Okay. We also have Kaylee Wadsworth, another diver. Kylie or Kaylee, whichever day it is. We don't know. So Kylie did really well at conference and diving, earned all conference honors. I know you did that. And then also dove really well at state, and you know, made it on the top 12 also. So I think it was, what was it, 9th. So did a great job in diving. So it's been fun having her this year. So, all right, good job. We have Madison Moffett. So Madison took 8th in state in the 100 butterfly, earned all conference honors in the butterfly, and I forgot your other event. 200 IM, thank you. 200 IM, did a great job with that. So, and was also part of our 200 free relay. Those guys placed in the top 6, and so did an awesome job this year, and looking forward to her coming back next year. So good job. Let's see, we have Ivory. So we have Ivory Neer, and Ivory was placed 11th in the 100 freestyle, also placed 11th in the 100 backstroke at state. So she earned all conference honors. And this lady was gone for a week. I don't know if you guys, she was part of the FFA band. So she was also doing that in the middle of swimming. And it was kind of hard to work with all of it, but she got through it and did an amazing job. And so we're really proud of her for that, and was part of our 200 free relay that got in the top 6. So good job. Yep. Yes, she was part of our all conference medley relay. Yes. All right. Emily Barnes, not here. Okay. Emily, she took 9th in the 500 freestyle at state, and she also earned all conference honors in the 200 and the 500 freestyle. Next, we have Haley Luth. All right. So Haley placed 8th at state in the 100 backstroke. Just missed out in the 100 freestyle. She was the infamous number 13, which is the awful place to be, but she did a great job, cut time, did awesome. I said 100, okay, 50 free. I meant 50 free. So, and then she has just done a really good job for us, and she earned all conference and just did a great job this season. So be fun, worked really hard over the summer too. So great job. Okay. Zella. So these guys right here are our first place people. We got Zella, took 1st in diving. So she's our state champion. Zella is also a captain of our team this year, earned all conference, all state honors. And if you did get to watch diving, it was awesome. And this girl just nerves of steel, I tell you. She just, the last 3 dives, she went in 4th, and she just kept doing a solid dive, and everybody else was getting kind of shaky. And at the end, she was standing there, and the number 1 person had to go, and she ended up diving not as well as Zella did, and Zella beat her by, I think it was 3 points. And you could have heard this little screech, and she was like, ah! But she did awesome. So it was so fun, but she did really well. And again, all conference, all state, amazing job, captain. Really proud of her accomplishments this year. So good job. We have Tanith. Did she show up? She didn't make it tonight. Okay, so Tanith was our other girl. She took 1st in conference and at state in both of her events, the 50 freestyle and the 100 freestyle. She broke the school records in both of those events. In fact, the 100 freestyle was kind of funny because at one point Tavia had it, then Tanith, then Tavia, then Tanith, and then Tavia, and then Tanith. I don't know how many times it went back and forth, but the 2 of them kept breaking it and it getting faster and faster and faster. But by the end, I think Tanith ended up with a 100 free record, but earned all state, all conference honors, did an awesome job, school records, and was definitely our lead off in the 400 freestyle relay. Yes, so it was cool. All right, next one we have, and did I get everyone right? Okay, I know, besides that one. Tavia, come on up. All right, so Tavia is our only freshman this year, and they all wore their leather jackets today. Theirs doesn't have anything on it. So I just thought it was really cute. I asked her today, I go, do you have a leather jacket? She goes, yeah, but nothing's on it. So I said, well, there will be in a couple days. So she's got a lot to put on here. So she was all conference. She was all state. She was part of our 400 free relay that broke the state record. She holds a school record now in the 200 IM. She is very close in the 100 fly. I think the only person ever faster than her in Green River history is Avery, who's coaching in Rock Springs right now. Am I missing anything else? Pool records. I think that's about, yeah. So just did just a really awesome job. These girls across the board, I'm telling you, it was so much fun. And you know, I said that they may have been second, but they're first in my book. These guys were just so good this year and worked very hard. And if anybody knows swimming, they know how hard these girls work. Mornings, afternoons, we lift, we swim. We don't run because we don't like running. Okay. Just so you know. But anyway, they did such an awesome job. And you know, Tavia, great freshman, going to be around. The really cool thing is the majority of these girls will be back next year. So we actually kind of have a young team. So we're going to be missing a couple and definitely we'll miss them, but the rest of them will be back and stronger, and it's going to be fun next year. So thank you. Good job. So 400, real quick, so I didn't forget anybody. I need Courtney step out, Haley Clevenger step out, and Tavia, and then Tana. These 4 girls, they're really funny. The very last event, they broke the 400 free record. I had to go over and tell them. They had no clue that they had done it. I said, "You guys broke the state record," and they go, "We did?" Just gave me that look. I'm like, "Yeah, you did." But they killed it by over a second. They killed the field by like 5 seconds, I think it was. And you know, I told them, "You guys have to stay ahead of this Cody," because Cody has this phenomenal girl that's a senior that graduates this year. I said, "Do not leave Tavia, you know, out to dry." And these other girls were like, "We're not going to do it. We don't want to get in trouble." And they didn't. And you know, Tavia, I think she just took off and she was so scared that she just kept going, man. It was so cool. But I was just screaming the whole way. And when it finished, I looked up there and I go, "It's a freaking state record." And coach thought I said another word. I said, "I did not say that." So just so you know. But anyway, last but not least, I want to introduce my assistant diving coach. Come on, who was voted as assistant coach of the year. So we're very proud of him. So congratulations, Rick. Yeah, Rod did. So anyway, thank you for letting me introduce my team. You know, hopefully next year we'll be back, and hopefully with a little bit bigger trophy, first place one. But if anybody can do it, it'll be this group. So thank you.
Colleen, I got to tell you, your program is in great hands. You obviously have great girls, and what you're doing is working. I was looking at the numbers the other day, and I think you finished first or second the last 4 or 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
And
5
you
years
think
in a row.
about that, 3 of those years were in class 4A. And
They were.
so outstanding job. And I know it's Rick Barker and not Ron Barker.
Ron Barker. I coach with Ron. I do have a little bit of tidbit just to let you guys know, is because as coaches, we always have to know we're competitive all the time. So when I got home, I put the 2 classes together, 4A and 3A, because I had to know. And just so you know, this is the best team in the state right here. They beat them all. If you put us all together, 4A and 3A, and swim a meet, we would have won. So,
Really? Well,
yep.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah. So thank you.
Good job.
Thanks.
Give it a few minutes. Let them go. Okay, next on our agenda is a recognition of the 21-22 Project Lead the Way Distinguished School for Lincoln Middle School. Mr. Mickelson, welcome. Thanks.
Good evening, Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, and members of the board. I'd like to present, we have some all conference and all state, but I want to present to you our all national distinguished teachers here. So come on up, teachers. Come up here with me, please. So Lincoln Middle School won a Distinguished School Award, and here's kind of the breakdown. There's 134 schools, middle schools across the nation that achieved this accomplishment. And so I'd like to go through and just kind of introduce everybody here and tell you what they teach. And then we've got a real quick slideshow for you as well. So I'm going to start with Miss Stanton here. Miss Stanton kind of puts all of this together for us. She's kind of our ringleader here, and she put the presentation together for us, and she set everything up. Ms. Stant teaches design and modeling for us. It's a 6th grade required course for all students. So that's it, right? That's the only one this year. Which one are you teaching this year? Oh, robotics too. Yeah, sorry. We're going to show you some slides on her teaching robotics as well. Okay, we have Tara Flom next. Tara Flom teaches medical detectives and magic of electrons. It's a combined semester class, which the kids are really into. Mr. Wheeler next, Mr. Wheeler is teaching computer science and innovators for makers, which is a 7th grade required course. And he's also teaching app creators for us. And then we have Stormy. Stormy is our go-to here. So she's our paraeducator who works in all these guys' classrooms. So anytime somebody's gone, she fills in and steps in, and yeah, she has to know everything in all classes, where all these guys get a designate and be in one. She has to know them all. So she does a really nice job for us as well. The other 3 people that are included is Mr. Lamb, who was not available to make it tonight. Mr. Howard. Mr. Lamb teaches flight and space, and you're going to see some rockets and some things going off. And so when you get some complaints about the neighbors' houses and the Trona Valley having some rockets on the roof, the fire station, that's from Mr. Lamb. Yeah. And then we have Mr. Howard teaching science of technology. And we also have Miss Mitchelson teaching green architecture. So Mary, you want to move on the slides here? Can I do it? Okay, so here's the banner that we have. We hung that up in our school. We didn't think it would work very well being outside in Wyoming, so we hung it up down our hallway there. But that's a collection of all of us, and obviously Mr. Bailey and Mr. Hamill are a huge part of this as well. So here's the Distinguished School Recognition Awards. The thing that we're most proud about is down at the very bottom when we work on, ethnicity, poverty, gender, and helping those students get a part of this too as well. There's some really great things that happen with what we're working with here. What you see here is the project Lead the Way, the curriculum all the way across the board, the launch, which we have in every elementary school, and then it fills into us, which is Gateway. And if you look at the Gateway, there's 10 different units. We are currently offering 9 of those 10 units at Lincoln Middle School. So they funnel into biomedicine, computer science, and engineering as they move forward through our program. Up here are all the courses, and it shows which areas they break down into which pathways. And so, like I said, we have every single one of them except for one, and we're going to work on getting that one in. And that's energy and the environment in the bottom left corner there. We thought this was really neat. So when people ask me, hey, what kind of careers do they get? If you take design and modeling, where eventually can we go? And so that's what this is up here. It has the career exploration, just shows you a breakdown of some of the jobs. When we start working through our college and career readiness place for Hathaway, we'll turn back to this and look at this and see where these kids are moving forward to with all these courses here. So here's the next step in our Gateway program. Some really cool things moving forward with these programs. And then here's the last one here with design and modeling, automation, robotics, and flight and space, a few more career choices. So here, Miss Stanton told me this is a GIF, right?
It's a gift
GIF. I don't know. Yeah, where they work while they're on here. So I thought they're super cool. You can see the rocket going off and the robotics moving on, but I have no idea how she did that. Cool. And then here's a few more from the courses. I know. A few more of the courses and some other things that we're doing through here. So some really cool things going on at Lincoln. We're really proud of these guys. They've done a really nice job of implementing this, getting the kids excited about it. The kids really enjoy it as well. Just look into the future here, a few things that we're working on. We're applying for the Project Lead the Way grant, which gives us a few more options and a few more things for kids, help supplement that a little bit. We want to really talk about engaging the community and stakeholders. We want to add that last course, and then obviously we're always looking to add dynamic teachers. It takes a special teacher to get these kids involved, and these guys all do a great job of representing that for us. So thank you. Good job. Thank you.
All right, any questions from the board?
That's great.
Outstanding. Good stuff. Thank you very much. Our next item on the agenda is recognition of American Education Week, and I have a I think I do, that I can read. Whereas public schools are the backbone of our democracy, providing young people with the tools they need to maintain our nation's precious values of freedom, civility, and equality. And whereas by equipping young Americans with both practical skills and broader intellectual abilities, schools give them the hope for and access to a productive future. And whereas education employees substitute educators, custodians, teachers, bus drivers, or librarians work tirelessly to serve our children and communities with care and professionalism. And whereas schools are community linchpins, bringing together adults and children, educators and volunteers, business leaders and elected officials in a common enterprise. Now, therefore, I, Steve Core, serving as chairman of the Sweetwater County School District Number 2 Board of Trustees, do hereby proclaim November 14th through the 18th as the 101st annual observance of American Education Week. So here we go. We're good. Okay, our next item is give me a break. You let me draw?
I've got one I'm looking for. And, oh, I got two of them. Somebody's gonna. Aubrey Miller, Lincoln.
All right, day off, Aubrey. All right, good deal. Next item, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Brenda, second by Tom to approve the agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is the approval of the consent agenda items. I need a motion, please.
Motion to approve.
Moved by Tom, second by David to approve the consent agenda items. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Reminder of the School Board Association Conference coming up next week. Brenda will be in attendance. She'll be a voting delegate of that. Brenda, you got all your information, and everything? Okay, good. Just a reminder of the National School Board Convention coming up in April. We have nothing under personnel, under curriculum and instruction and assessment. Here a presentation on Monroe Elementary School student data trackers. Mr. Iamoni. Welcome.
Good evening, Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, Board of Trustees. Thanks for having us tonight. I feel really fortunate working with the group of people that I get to work with, the staff, the students, and the parents. I learn a lot every day. Before we start, I want to introduce the folks that we have up here. Actually, I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then they'll be speaking after that. So go ahead.
Anne-Marie Anderson, I'm the instructional facilitator.
I'm Hayden Lagurski. I'm a second grade teacher.
I'm Casey Core. I'm a second grade teacher.
Heather Phillips, second grade.
Shalina Nicholson, reading specialist.
Cool. Thanks, guys. So we have our second grade group, Anne Marie, and then Shalina here because they jumped in and started using some student data tracking where the kids are actually tracking their own data. We have other people in the building doing this, but the second grade really jumped in along with Shalina, and then Anne Marie helped facilitate that work. In front of you, Mr. Behringer, did you distribute the exit tickets? So in lieu of this, we have a little assignment for you as you're going through this presentation. We want you to fill out some of the information that you see. There should be about 3 questions on it. And then you're gonna tell us how you feel comfortable with student data tracking. So basically the purpose of student data tracking is to allow kids to track their own progress, set goals, understand those goals, and see where they're at in their learning. It helps them take ownership in their learning, provide clarity, and learn to mastery. So ironically, the first part of your exit ticket are the Monroe Elementary 2022-2023 goals. So you can see promote safety, respect, responsibility every day, improve Monroe Elementary staff and student wellness. And then 70% of our students will be proficient or advanced, and then increase equity growth to 49%. I'll give you a minute if you're taking notes.
Got it. Move on.
Perfect. Okay, so the target for today, this is what we want you to know to be able to do and be able to do at the end of this is that learn how Monroe is improving the teaching and learning process through student data tracking. We're going to know that you're going to be successful by being able to summarize our goals and then tell Mr. Behringer a summary how tracking student data helps students know their progress. We'll skip that one, that's on your exit ticket. And then also how intentionally tracking student data can improve learning content to mastery. So we wanted to talk about our journey. We started with the PLC process a few years ago, basically with the 4 questions. What do students want to know and be able to do? How are we going to know if they learned it? What are we going to do when they don't learn it? What are we going to do when they do? So this is partly where our teachers are at, tracking student data. They are basically in the spot where we have data now. We're formatively assessing our students. What are we going to do with that data? The next piece is John Hattie's work, where he basically seeing what has the highest effect size on learning. We'll talk about that a little bit more. And now Marzano resources, which is basically high reliability schools. We'll hit that in a second. So this is Marzano. Right now we're working mainly in safe, supportive, and collaborative culture, but we're also working a little bit in number 2, effective teaching in every classroom. Then we're going to move from there. So this is part of John Hattie's work. We want to see what's our biggest bang for the buck. John Hattie, when he goes through his research, he basically want an effect size of 0.4. That means basically that if what you're doing instructionally or basically the strategies you're using for kids, if it's a 0.4 or above, they're getting a year's growth in a year's time. So anything 0.4 and above is above a year's growth in a year's time. So right now, self-reported grades basically is student data trackers. So again, they're assessing their work and then gauging how they're reaching mastery as they're going through it. It has a 1.33 effect size, which is almost 2 years growth in a year's time. So this is how we're going to do it. So we aligned everything, make sure that we knew what we wanted our kids to be able to do. We wanted to target the areas that we wanted to improve on to increase clarity. And then now after each lesson, students are self-assessing where they're at in their work. I forgot Anne-Marie's.
You're good. You got it. He's got it. He's got a plan. So yeah, just continuing on with looking at our critical concepts. What does that work look like? And how do we intentionally plan for our kids to move forward? And then looking at, after we had that instruction, how did we get our kids to self-assess and own their learning and want to move forward? Part of that motivation piece and getting them invested in their own growth. And then working in our PLCs to collaborate and analyze our data, that process, and what did that look like? Now, Mike, you have to tell me which one to push.
Right arrow. You just gotta hit it once.
We'll go, I don't know where, folks.
Go back a little bit more. Left arrow.
Wrong way.
Left
Wrong
arrow.
way. I know, I'm like trying.
Close your eyes.
How do I feel about my progress? Not very good right now. So then looking at our data tracking just across grade levels, we really looked at folks just taking on the work wherever they were ready for that. So we have staff at various different levels, some that are just dipping into that, some who have taken that full on in terms of their whole grade level team, and then adding our intervention specialists into that to help. So we're going to share with you some examples of data trackers, talk about that process of how our kids have tracked their data, look at what our students think about data trackers and their binders, and end with just like a video presentation of one of our kiddos sharing their thoughts about data tracking.
So in my second grade classroom, the students are tracking their data through Google Classroom, and they have a Google Sheet for reading, phonics, language, and math. And after every assessment, my students and I grade our assessments together. They bring them to me, I check over it, make sure everything's okay. And then they get it back and they get to go put it in their data, their online data tracker. And it's really cool because you'll see on the next slide, it all just matches up with these colors right here. They also know the verbiage that if they get a 1, they don't understand it yet. And we really emphasize that it's yet because they're going to get there and we're the ones that are going to help them get there. For a level 2, they're still learning and they need some help. A 3 is I've got this, and that's where we want them to be. That's their goal. And the 4 is they can teach others. So my students in my classroom are using this verbiage, this terminology, and they're really excited about it. So this is an example over on the right. This is for math. Every assessment, they grade it themselves. They put their score in, and then over on the left, you can see a little button. And so whenever my kids get a 3, they get to come over and they hit it, and it's me saying, "You got a 3, good job." And everyone in the class celebrates and they get so excited. And this has been really beneficial because the students are really excited to get a 3. They're excited for the kids that do get a 3. And then it also helps those kids that are not at a 3 yet understand, like, they want to get to a 3 and they come and see how they can get there. So it's been really beneficial and really exciting.
Did you bring the button?
No, I should have. I'm sorry. I'll bring it next time. It's pretty cool.
We'll
And-
just come to your room.
Yes, it's pretty cool. Mr. Ligursky has one too, so you guys will have to come try them out. They're pretty cool. So we're using them in all of the subjects, and it has been really beneficial because the students are taking ownership of their learning. They are looking at the assessments, which I didn't have my kids do last year. They're grading their own assessments and seeing what they need to do better at or what they've mastered, and it's just been really great. And now we'll go into Miss Core.
Thank you. Okay, unlike Hayden, I am not tech savvy. So I decided to start out just with the paper data binders. This is an example of one of my kids' binders. Each child has their own, and they're able to track their own progress the same way. They use the 1 to 4 key, the same as Hayden, to match their scores or grade, and then they color it in the paper. You'll see that on the next slide. There are 4 components of data binders from my class, and the 4 are listed here. I do their reading fluency. I do their ninja math. I do their comprehension. I do phonics. But every teacher can have their own components to it, which is really nice. You can kind of decide what you want to do, or you can add more or take it away if it's too much. Based on the teacher's choice and expectations. The students all color in their own scores, and they know what each color and level represents very well. And now Heather's going to talk about guided reading.
All right, so the best thing about this is we do so much data tracking all day long that now we're starting to pinpoint exactly what each student needs. And we're taking that into other elements rather than just reading, writing, math, those kind of core subjects. We're doing it in guided reading, which is super cool. And Shalina is going to talk about LLI. I'm really excited about this part because I have created little mini data trackers that they get to carry around on these little keychains, and they're color coded by their group, and their goals are on their specific goals. So on this first slide, you can see it says I can accurately read words out loud. And then on the back side, it's give a 5-finger retell. Every kid has their own goal. So many of them are different. Some of them are the same. But Shalina in LLI is taking the goals that we are doing in the classroom, and she's transferring it over. So it's not goals in isolation. They're carrying over to different groups. So it's really exciting to see kiddos fill in their mini data trackers. There's a lot more that we've done since we put these in here, but this is just one, for example. And then the student reading a page to me, they know their goals. They know if they miss 1 and they self-correct, that's still a 4. Like all those numbers, the students know. They know how to say rate and accuracy and comprehension, and they know everything. It's really cool to know that a 7-year-old can say words that we are like, we can teach that to them. So we're pushing them beyond their limits, which is really exciting. We're doing it cross grade levels. We're doing it in LLI interventions, and we've seen a lot of progress. It's very cool.
Oh, this is, it's okay. I'm glad you
I'm
hit
out
the
of-
button,
I'm
so I
out of
didn't
order.
have to. I needed help. Just as Heather and Casey and Hayden have shared, lots of different places where our kids are working individually. And it's been truly that piece about individual goals, individual thoughts, and kids planning forward for their own instruction. And so we just wanted to share with you some thoughts from our kids. Besides just doing their data trackers, what are they thinking about that? How do they feel about that? And again, just another self-awareness and self-assessment piece. So our kiddos looking at how that benefits them, how it helps their scores, and what they like about that data tracking process. This is not me either, man.
I'll share this really quick. Sorry, guys.
I just
So,
wanna know. I'm so excited.
There, I'm going to share like the data tracker that we've been using in all of our classes. I don't know where Mr. Iamone shared it. Anyone that is wanting to use it can use it. At the bottom, it shows the one that's the template for if they print it out. And then there's the little self-rating scales and then also like the online data binder version as well. And I don't know how to get back to the slide. Yay, it's me.
Okay, so this year, this is my first year being our reading specialist, and one of my biggest goals is what I really wanted to have that communication between the classroom and reading interventions, and to make sure we were working as a team on exactly what these kids need to know in order to be successful. This tracker has made the biggest difference in the success of our students. I feel like they know exactly the goal that they need to achieve in order to get where they need to go. And they get so excited, and having that accountability in the students' hands has made the biggest difference that I've seen in my teaching career. I could just be, I'm so excited about this. It really has. I've talked to many, many people about, you know, when you put the responsibility in the child's hands, and they know exactly what they need to know to be successful, it makes all the difference. So I do this in LLI, and it's awesome because as a school, we're trying to get everybody on board who's ready to be on board, and just knowing that we are working as a team, and these kids are going from one classroom to the next, and they know from this classroom to this classroom, this is my goal. And it's made a huge difference. So I wanted to end it with an interview I did with a student, so you guys could just see what they think of it. Okay, Maddie, tell me what the self tracker is.
It's to keep track what you're doing, and so you don't get lost, and like if you're too fast, you can slow down with your rate.
So what are you working on, baby?
Rate.
And so tell me
and
what
accuracy,
okay, so tell me what accuracy is.
Not to mess up on words and change them back if I get them wrong.
And what's rate mean, baby?
To slow down a little bit for me.
Okay, and do you think this has helped you, the self tracker,
Yes.
as a reader? Can you tell me why you think that?
Because when I can look back and see, oh, the first day I got a 1 because I messed up on lots of words.
Uh-huh.
And then I can look back and see I got 3 4 times, and then I got a 1 today.
You mean
4 today.
a 4 today. So how does that help you as a reader, babe? What does that show you?
It shows me that I can be a better reader, and that day I was a very good reader.
And I'm very proud of you. Good job, babe. Thank you. Okay. Okay.
Cool. So we'll give you guys a minute to fill out your exit tickets while we're transitioning to the next thing, and then also take any questions you may have.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thanks.
I have to, I need help.
Feel free to pass those down to Mr. Behringer.
I assume you want us to be honest?
Great job. Thank you.
Good job.
Okay, Mike, your scorecards are up here. Let's see what the doc said.
Thank you, Ashley, for bringing the average up.
You're with us.
Welcome.
All
I was paying
attention. right, before we move to the next item, I have got to introduce my grandchildren. They're here in the audience. Carson Core, wave your hand. Don't have to tell him to say hi. Cameron, can you wave? And Cadence. Thanks for coming tonight. Appreciate it. All right, next item on our agenda is to hear a presentation on innovative ideas program. Greg Fergenzer, welcome.
Thank you very much, Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, and Board of Trustees. So this is going to be pretty quick. One of the things that we were able to do with our ESSER dollars is to put some ideas out there for teachers to examine what they wanted to learn. What did they want to study? And looking at, let's see if this works for me, Mary. Maybe. Nope. Can you click on that? What is it? Maybe I can. There we go. Nope. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go this way. So the Innovative Ideas Project is tied to our 3 school strategic areas of focus. And so when they choose an idea, they are looking at those 3 basic areas, and they can make any decision that they want. So if they say they want to do a book study, they present the book, they say, these are the people that are interested. These are the different things we expect to get out of the book study. And then at the bottom is a little proficiency scale, a 0, or a 1, 2, 3, and a 4. And so they choose what makes them a 4 or a 3 or a 2 or a 1. But the greatest thing about this is it has nothing to do with any kind of evaluation. So say they go through the book study, they put in some of the strategies, and it didn't work the way they wanted to, and they ended up being kind of a 1 or a 2. Sometimes our best ideas come from failures that we experience. But right now, in our process, 3 or more people fill out the application, they have their principal sign it, and then they send it to Craig for approval. If I could get this to come up, I'd show you what the sample of the elementary was, but it was more of just an idea of, we were going to have a group of kids, put them all together, find out who was the most need, and have teachers decide that they were going to take maybe 30 minutes a day and work with any kid in that building that was in that high need area. Then there was a high school sample, and that had to do with language arts in some specific areas. But really, it is totally focused on the teachers. What do they want to study? Right now, we're kind of in the early phases of, they're kind of looking at books and things that they want to read about and understand, but we pay them for their time. So if they finish a project and they don't go to the level of maybe putting some of the strategies in their class. And so we're reading a book at the high school right now called The Deepest Well. And it's understanding the trauma that kids can experience in their life and how that can have impacts on their life. And right now we're at the awareness phase and reading through that book. And then at the end, we're going to figure out, okay, what does the proficiency scale look like? And then anybody that is willing to try some different things in their class, they can fill out their proficiency scale. But if they just read the book, they can get paid a couple $100 for spending some time reading a book that they had read anyway. If they put it into practice, it doesn't matter if they get a 1 or a 4. They can make a little extra money on top of that. So it's our hope that teachers get an opportunity, and staff as a whole. Right now we have support staff. We have our food service has done an amazing application for studying the energy bus. Currently, we have 131 staff. I think we're closing in on 150 after some applications came in. So we're right around 20% of our population are employees that are taking part in this process. And, it was just an opportunity to get teachers to look at whatever they want, to try some things that are unique to them. And like I said, right now we're in the book study phase, but we're starting to see some ideas come in that branch a little bit away from that and are really some innovative trials of some experience in classes. Any questions?
I would like to say, we meet with each group before
Yes.
they get started. And one of the teachers said, he goes, this is the first time in 30 years of teaching that I get to decide what I want to do for a book study. So.
Yeah, and Craig does meet with every group. And this idea came from an idea that he had and he brought to us from Montana. So right now we have really good participation in it. There is no requirement to be involved in it. You don't have to. People have busy lives and every 30 minutes counts, right? So if they choose to be involved, they can. If they choose not to, that is perfectly okay.
All right. Thanks. Any other questions, comments?
Thank you.
Good job, Greg.
Thank
Thanks. Next item is our technology director report. JR, welcome.
All right. Thank you, Chairman Core, Superintendent Behringer, members of the board. I'm going to keep this super brief and try not to bore you to death. I feel like I'm getting upstaged a little bit. I have no animated GIFs in this. So a quick department overview. Currently in our staff, we have myself, Kathy Fetch, my administrative assistant, Aaron Nelson, our systems/network administrator, and Terry Kellhofer and Ned Phelps are our 2 help desk technicians. As far as devices go, we have about 5,364 wireless devices, 1,095 non-wireless devices, and 263 access points. And I wanted to separate those because it's kind of important for where we're going here in the future. Our wireless access points have doubled in the last 3 years. So the amount of wireless technology that we have in the classroom is substantial. So moving on, a lot of that is because of our one-to-one initiative, and we were kind of ahead of the curve here in Wyoming for our one-to-one because we were one-to-one almost in 2018. I think we were one-to-one. So we had Chromebooks for every student, and it's to encourage the use of technology and enhance instruction and collaboration in the classroom. We have our 4-year rollout plan, but with COVID and everything there, requiring more digital learning, our use of Chromebooks increased by about 60%. So that kind of facilitated the doubling of our access points. So things we're doing to support our initiative and to make things run smoother in the classroom. Number 1 was ClassLink, which is a single sign-on. We're trying to streamline the ability for kids to use their Chromebooks, teachers to have kids log into their curriculum seamlessly, or as seamlessly as possible. I feel like it's been quite effective. In fact, it's been so effective that if they have any issues, people think the internet is broken and don't know how to get to their email. So it's been very good, and I think it's been quite effective. Next on the list is increasing our network bandwidth. Fortunately, here in the state of Wyoming, ETS, they spend a ton of money on internet connections for schools. So we actually have a 10 gig fiber connection currently at the core, but they are pushing to get 10 gig fiber connections to every single school building. So for instance, McKinnon's upgrade, they have gigabit fiber out at McKinnon now, which is amazing. So that'll help us, to keep internet speeds high, to allow technology to work better in the classroom. Along with that, coming up this year, we are looking to expand and improve our wireless network. So we've doubled our APs, but we've kind of outgrown our older system. So it's time to upgrade. We're looking to test out a couple different systems and have something in place by this summer that's going to be a lot more robust and with Wi-Fi 6 to kind of future-proof in the future and allow us, more flexibility and better connection for all the devices that we have. So yeah, we'll be looking to do that. And fortunately, that's all under E-rate. So we get a 60% discount on those, which is nice. And another initiative that we're doing here is installing a cache box, which we have on site, and we're looking to install it towards the end of the month. Basically, it's a cache server that's going to store the most frequently accessed files and web pages and things like that that the kids are using locally, so that not every single device has to go out the tunnel to the internet to pull that same information. So hopefully just make things run smoother in the classroom. So and of course, technology is a double-edged sword. It is a good thing, and it's also a very bad thing. So some of the things that we're trying to do to mitigate the bad things are our content filter. Currently, we're using iBoss, which is a cloud-based internet security content filter. It allows us to filter content for students even when they're not on our network, since the secondaries are all taking the Chromebooks home. We need to be able to do what we can to filter content for them. Another thing we're doing is Bark for Schools, and I've been harping on this for years. We love it. Some of the administrators probably not so much, Joe. But anyway, so it monitors our district-owned devices and flags anything that's in one of those columns there. and it's been quite useful. And I've actually been on the radio several times trying to peddle the home version for parents, because I think parents need to start doing more for their kids' cell phones, but that's another discussion. We're also looking into our cybersecurity. We've met with CISA, which is Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. They're with the Department of Homeland Security. So we will be doing a risk and vulnerability assessment as far as our cybersecurity profile, a resilience review, and then we will also be a part of their cyber hygiene / weekly vulnerability scanning. So we'll kind of get weekly reports on where we sit as far as our vulnerability for cyber attacks. So I know that's a huge push with some of the things that have happened in other school districts, and districts are a huge target for that. So that's just some of the things we've been up to. I'm very proud of my team, and I feel like we cover 7,000 devices, and there's 5 of us in my department. So I think we've done a pretty good job. But
All right,
any questions
of JR?
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the information. Outstanding.
Yep,
Good job.
thank you.
Next is a report from our Nutrition Services Director, Leah. Thanks for dinner tonight, by the way. It was good.
Thank you very much. Chairman Corr, Superintendent Behringer, Board of Trustees. So I just put together a little slide. It must be a night for slides. I'm glad I did it. I wasn't going to. So I decided just to start with what's new with food service. We did start a coffee bar up at the high school this year. It's available to all students. It's included with their breakfast and lunch. So that goes for all students, whether they're free, reduced, or paid, they all have access to the coffee bar. We also have like sugar-free syrups that they can put into those coffees. I have a Nutrition Services logo. And so on the logo, we printed them into stickers. And on the stickers we placed on the coffee heat cuff so it doesn't burn their hands. So the kids, when they were coming through, they were saying things like, I don't know who thought of this coffee bar idea, but it's a great idea, and they were super excited. So we were excited to have that started at the high school. We also started Second Chance Breakfast. I don't know if you all remember, but we were going to have First Lady Gordon come before COVID. And I know Trustee Castillion was interested also in the Second Chance Breakfast. COVID kind of shut us down. We were going to work toward that following year. We did get it up and running this year, thanks to Darren and his help with that. This is available to students at 9:30 in the morning, and it's during the 5-minute passing period. And we open the cafeteria back up, and it's prepackaged breakfast items. And so the kids can come through the cafeteria. We also have 2 breakfast carts that are kiosks, and we have one located at the front doors and then one upstairs. So the kids can quickly go through, punch their number in. If they haven't had breakfast at 7:20 in the morning and they're hungry at 9:30, gives them the opportunity to pick up that food. What's the same? The same for us is supply chain issues. We continue to see more and more products that are hard to purchase. Some of the items we're having a hard time with are waffle, chicken, rice, pork, plastic, styrofoam items, cookies, biscuits. And then today, we actually found out that there is a lettuce shortage. So if you guys are needing salad, you might want to go buy it. It's due to the hurricane and whatnot. We're just having a hard time getting it. Nutrition, the staff is amazing. They're so flexible and willing to go the extra mile, no matter how difficult or how many changes we face. Our free and reduced numbers district-wide, we're back to the 30% free and reduced rate. This is the same percentage we had in 1920. Fun facts. So I was visiting with Craig about DOD. I don't know if you guys have heard that term. DOD stands for the Department of Defense. So through the DOD, we receive fresh fruit and vegetables every year. The fresh fruit and vegetables that are grown, that's sourced through local farmers across the United States. This was actually put into place during World War II. So this was a way that
the government could help keep our farmers in business while the war was going on. So we also support the local agriculture by feeding the fresh fruit and vegetables to the kids. Buy American, we are required to purchase, all of our items have to be Buy American. We have a Buy American clause. Now, sometimes like mandarin oranges or pineapple, we can't get those locally. So in that case, we just have to keep a log of the Buy American items that we purchase. This is a slide about what hunger looks like in Wyoming. Pre-COVID, so in 1819, 1 in 4 children were food insecure. With the price of inflation and food prices, that number has more than doubled. So right now we're sitting 1 in 8 children face hunger. This next slide is just some information for you guys. We are back to the free, reduced, and paid meals. This brings along with it the negative balance. As of the 2nd, we were $9,668 in the negative. The department sends phone calls out to families twice a week, letting them know what their balances are. We do this all year long. We have also currently started calling, reaching out to those families. Sometimes, it's a robocall, it's an automated call. So we have parents that are like, I'm not gonna answer. When we closed due to COVID, we were sitting at about 6,500 in the negative. And then the delivery van that we've been waiting on for almost 1.5 years, we're about 3 months out. We do have a chassis, which I guess is a big deal. When I called, he said, well, we got the chassis, so now it's just going to be headed up to put the box on. So any questions?
Any questions? I assume that it's safe for me to say publicly that you would be accepting donations to help out with the, like we've done in the past. People have come forward Christmas
Yes.
time, would like to donate, pay food, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and we'll do the pay it forward to where we'll just ask. that
So if
they-
somebody were to ask me, I could say, talk to Leah.
Yep, that'd be great.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
All right, thank you, Leah. Appreciate it. Next is transportation. Rachel, welcome.
Good evening, Chairman Court, Superintendent Behringer, and Board of Trustees. Okay, that's the hardest part. I don't know why, but it really is. But good evening. So at transportation, we like to think that our school buses are the extension of the classroom. So what is it that we teach on a school bus? No, we don't have the opportunity to go through all the amazing things that all of our teachers get to, but we get to address the social skills. So a lot of our students, especially when you start looking at the ones that are just starting their education, they don't have a lot of self and social awareness, and being in close proximity with others and with a small amount of supervision is challenging. So you look at almost every kindergartner, they've probably not been in a vehicle without a parent or without a seatbelt. So, and the vast majority of our buses do not have seatbelts yet. All of our new purchases moving forward are fully seatbelted, which is in itself another challenge. So then these kiddos are facing that they are sitting with someone that they may not know, or possibly that they don't really like. Maybe it's just today, maybe they like them again tomorrow. But those are also challenging situations. So, and then also helping to teach our students, that's being aware of their surroundings, knowing that their bus stop is coming up, helping them to wake up when they approach their bus stop. So those are all social skills that we're teaching. So how do we do this? We encourage it with a safe environment. So first we have to start with understanding what those bus rules are and why we have them. Every single one of our bus rules are safety minded. So we rely on all of our teammates to focus on why we are here, students being transported safely. Our whole department, everybody from the top to the bottom, we only have a job if we worry about our student safety in every facet that we do it. So all of our teammates, we have drivers, aides, students, mechanics, office staff, parents and guardians, and school personnel. Every single person on that list is imperative to our team safety. How big is transportation? So often it's hard to imagine how many people are affected by transportation in our district. We have 34 bus drivers, 18 bus aides, which is a huge deal. That is quite unheard of in most transportation departments. I feel very fortunate to be a part of a district where we encourage having bus aides on the buses because we would not be near as successful without them. We have 5 office staff. All of us have CDLs. So when we're short on drivers, any one of us can hop in behind the wheel and make sure the kids get where they need to go. And we have 2 mechanics. Daily, this is just our routes. This does not include any of our activities or field trips, but on a daily basis, we have 40 routes, including 24 buses, and we're transporting around 1,000 kids, give or take. During the midday times, we have 5 different middays with 5 buses and 8 programs that we provide extra transport back and forth for about 30 students. And then we also have our extended late routes. So we have 4 different routes as of today, 3 buses for 4 different schools, and that affects about 25 students. So last year, I wanted to give you guys real-time miles for this year, but unfortunately, I have some data input errors because I have fat fingers sometimes. So I decided I would just give you last year's numbers because I know they're accurate. So last year we traveled 377,808 miles. So if you look at it, takes 25,000 to go around the globe. We went around the globe 15 times. So with our route and field trips clustered together, it's a total of 284,824 miles. And that is 1,600 miles every single day en route. And it's actually a little bit over that. Our activity trips, we were at 92,984 miles. So that is just our activities. That is not field trips. That is just our competitive section of travel. And then adult travel, which is not included in that big number up at top, that is all of our administrator vehicles, our technology vehicles, all of that is 96,296 miles. So we got a lot of miles on those vehicles in our fleet. So our mechanics are responsible for all of the vehicles in our district. So for transportation, we have 40 buses. We have 13 white fleet that includes our administrator vehicles. We have 3 technology vehicles, 4 food service, 20 maintenance plus all of their equipment, and the 6 CDC buses. So with 2 mechanics, they juggle all of this. And with my amazing shop manager, she helps make sure that they are taking care of everything and communicating and making sure that everybody knows that their equipment, their vehicles are just as important to us. So our bus teams are the first and the last district employees to see our students. So some of our teams start as early as 5 a.m. They wake up much earlier than that to make sure that they are there at the office, getting their bus trips or their bus pre-trips done, making sure that those vehicles are safe. We have routes that go up to McKinnon and stop at Buckboard, Granger, Fontenelle, and Seatskiddy. So that's why they have to leave so early. And then we have some that their days don't even end till after 8:30, just to make sure that we get the students home after their practices that live in the rural areas. So we want to make sure that all of our students, no matter where they live, have the opportunity to compete in the areas that they would like to. So, but first and foremost and last and always, bus safety is our #1 priority. So October 17th through the 21st, I was very excited to be able to. This is the first time at my capacity here at transportation where I feel like we were able to get in control of taking on the National Bus Safety Week. It was very exciting for us. We were able to share our curriculum with all of the elementary health teachers and PE teachers who shared our curriculum with all the students. And it was very exciting to see all the students be excited to be on the bus, sing the song, and it was just really fun. And then myself and my bus teams that provide transportation for Lincoln, whether it was for routes or activities, we were able to go and spend a day at Lincoln and teach our bus safety curriculum to all of them to make sure that they understood that why we have those bus rules. It's not just because we're mean, we care about these kids. So bus safety as an initiative nationwide is to educate students, teachers, parents, and public make them aware of how we can all be safer on and around a bus. Stop arm violations. Everybody knows those things. I get phone calls. Oh no, did I go past the bus? The reason why these are so important for us is statistically, and it says it on the thing there, that statistically the most dangerous part of the school bus is out and around it, because that's where, as bus teams, we have no control over those students. So educating the public, educating parents of why those stop arms are out are key. So we work with the police and the SRO to enforce the safety around the buses. If someone drives past the bus with the stop arm out, it can be a violation up to $720. We try to avoid violations by routing our buses to not block traffic more than necessary. And we review every possible violation before we turn it in to make sure we did it right. It is a culture that we have in our department that we are not trying to catch somebody doing it wrong. We know what that feels like because we're driving a billboard. Everybody wants to see us doing it wrong, so we have to do it right. So we are in control of when we actuate those lights. We are to make sure that the public has time to get past before that we demand them to stop, right? Be reasonable. So I myself and my safety coordinator, we evaluate every single one of those stop arm violations before we call it in. And we make sure we learn from it if we didn't do it right. So, and there are times when a violation doesn't seem like we can prosecute. We are so fortunate that the police in our community are willing to go and talk to the offender, educate them, say, hey, you know, I know that's a blind quarter. You didn't have time to see it. We appreciate that, but that bus is going to be stopped on that corner every day at that time. So choose a different route or just be prepared to stop. So again, that outside area of the bus is the most dangerous, and it is something that we are very passionate about, keeping kids safe. And when I submitted this PowerPoint, we had 15 stop arm violations. We now have 18. So that is now 18 opportunities for a kid to get hit. So that is why it is so important just to help everybody be educated about why we have those stop arms. So again, at the end of the day, over the river and through the woods, we're transporting Wyoming's most precious goods. So if you guys have any questions.
Any questions? Comments? It was clever. I was hoping you'd sing it.
Over the river and through the woods, transporting Wyoming's most precious goods.
I shouldn't have said that. That was good.
Yeah, I'm not a good singer.
Thank you very much. Good reports tonight. Awesome stuff. Thank you. Next item is consider approval of the audited financial statements. If you'd like to leave, you certainly can. Just kidding, Mike. Welcome. Have you learned some stuff tonight, though? I'm sure you have. All right. Welcome, Mike. By the way, he did present to the audit committee and everything was looking good.
I only lost 4. That's not bad. So perfect. I'll try not to take up too much time. Kind of a backstory with this real fast. Just the other day, my mother-in-law, who's had the wonderful opportunity of knowing me for 8 years, asked me what an auditor even does, because she had to get an audit for the first time with the conservation district that she helps out with. So that was a fun conversation that we had to have. And in regards to that, I'm going to go through just a little bit of kind of what we do. So we're actually going to start on page 3. Or actually page 2, sorry about that. So right here, auditor's responsibilities. I won't go through everyone. If you want to read them later, have at. Realistically, our objectives are to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an auditor's report that includes our opinions. And then it goes through a couple bullet points of the things that we look at and things that we do during the audit. And then back on page 1, second paragraph there, it says, in our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of the governmental activities, business type activities, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information of Sweetwater County School District number 2 as of June 30, 2022. I'm going to end it there because the rest is a mouthful. That means that you guys received an unmodified opinion, which is the best opinion that you guys can get. And then on page 3, the last sentence in the second paragraph is another one of our opinions. It says, in our opinion, The combining non-major governmental funds financial statements and the schedule of expenditures of federal awards are fairly stated in all material respects in relation to the basic financial statements as a whole. And that's in regards to the federal funds that you guys spend through the year. Pages 4 through 12 are management's discussion and analysis. I won't go through that, but that is stuff that Chris does, I imagine with Katie's help as well. And that gives a narrative information, a narrative background on kind of why things went up, why things went down. It gives comparative financials, which aren't in the normal financial statements. So this is unaudited. However, oh, see, I'm supposed to go. It's unaudited. However, I think it's really good information, and it's something that I looked over with Chris, and I think it'd be really beneficial for if you have any questions to kind of go through that, or if you are limited in the amount of time you want to read this. Okay, I won't go through almost any of the numbers, so the things that take me hours and days to do. However, on page 17, and it's going to be the third from the bottom line item, where it says net changes in fund balance. Now, as an auditor, it's not my job to tell you that you guys had a good year, that things are going well. It's really just to provide the information. However, that third to the bottom item, that net changes in fund balance, usually when those increase, it's a positive thing. It means you guys either you spent less than you earned in the current year usually. And as you can see in all your governmental funds, that increased. So, and for food services on page 20 also increased, but we won't go there. So on page 49, last sentence on the second paragraph. It'll be further down, Mary. Yep. Right there. Yep. So budgetary compliance, that's another thing that we look at. Last sentence there, it says there were no instances in which actual expenditures exceeded budgeted expenditures at the functional level required by Wyoming statutes. Page 55. Is our independent auditor's report on internal control. Last sentence in the second to last paragraph, we state that during our audit, we did not identify any deficiencies in internal control that we considered to be material weaknesses. We did identify a deficiency in internal control that we considered to be a significant deficiency. That deficiency is a lack of segregation of duties. We want to make it very clear that that's not a finding against the staff or the school itself. It's more a finding against the size of the staff. You just don't have a large enough size to have a complete segregation of duties. And that's why we put that finding in there. And then in regards to compliance, last sentence on that bottom paragraph, it says the results of our test disclosed no instances of non-compliance or other matters that are required to be reported under GAS. And then page 59, another one of our lovely reports is our independent auditor's report on compliance of the major programs. So this is going back to the federal money that's spent. First sentence there, we have audited Sweetwater County School District number 2's compliance with the types of compliance requirements described in the OMB's compliance supplement that could have a direct and material effect for the year ended June 30, 2022. And at the very bottom, it says, in our opinion, Sweetwater County School District number 2 complied in all material respects with the types of compliance requirements referred to above that could have a direct and material effect on each major federal program. And then on the next page, right above purpose of this report, we state we did not identify any deficiencies in internal control over compliance that we consider to be material weaknesses as defined above. And this is very important because there's no internal deficiencies in regards to compliance with federal money. It's more just the overall day-to-day operations because those are slightly different. And then on the very next page, and this will be the last page, this is our summary. So in summary, The report of independent auditor expressed an unmodified opinion. It's the best opinion you can receive. The audit disclosed one significant deficiency, which we talked about. The deficiency was not considered a material weakness, and the audit disclosed no compliance findings material to the financial statements, and that's for the financial statements. And then for federal awards, we expressed an unmodified opinion on compliance for major programs. We identified no material weaknesses for internal control, and we disclosed no compliance findings that are required to be reported in accordance with the uniform guidance. And this year, the federal programs that were audited was Title 1A and then the GEARS and CARES Act money, which was a large chunk of your guys' federal expenditures this year. And we believe everything was in compliance, obviously. So the only things that we have left are doing the data collection form and sending it off to the Federal Audit Clearinghouse. And that's where they'll have one last look to make sure everything's good. And if they have any questions, they'll let us know, but that's never happened so far. So do you guys, obviously, Chris, Katie, the rest of the staff were amazing to get information from. It's one of the school districts I actually enjoy coming down and doing. Don't tell anyone else, but
we're number one, just say it.
Well, you're Sweetwater too, but we don't do number one. So that's, but no, it's always, they're great to get information to us even before we come down. They're great at calling us anytime they have questions beforehand. So we don't ever come, and we're never surprised by anything during the audit. At least usually I can't think of one. So we appreciate everything they do. And do you guys have any questions for me?
Any questions? Comments?
Thank you.
Chris, great job again, your staff, appreciate it. Mike, I got to tell you, I was a little bit nervous just because of the federal dollars involved we had last year, but I figured Chris would nut that, and she did. So good job.
And with them giving it all, there's the amount of guidelines that they have are pretty easygoing compared to some of the other ones. So
Okay, great. Thank you for coming over. Drive careful going home.
Will do. I've got a monster for the way back, so I
And
should be awake. but-
Enjoy. You live in Evanston, right?
Yeah.
Enjoy the sisters tonight.
Oh, I will.
Tell them hi.
Perfect. And then do you guys normally approve these?
We will
today,
make
or-
a motion right now.
Okay, perfect.
All right. I need a motion to approve the annual audit as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Tom and second by Ashley. Any questions, comments? Thanks again, Mike.
Thank
All
you.
those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thanks, Mike. Drive careful. Up next is the Dr. Foose Show. First is consider approval of the amendment to policy BBF-E, NSBA and WSABA Code of Ethics for School Board Members. Dr. Foose, welcome.
Thanks, Chairman Core, Superintendent Berenger, and trustees. We'll get through these pretty quick. This is just an update from the NSBA and at the national level and the Wyoming state level. And thanks for your consideration. Just amend this to get it up to date.
Need a motion, please?
So moved.
Moved by Brenda, second by David to approve BBF-E. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item, consider approval of the amendment to policy DH, bonded employees and officers.
Yep. Research we did with Craig Zepp, our liability writer, and those things, we still need to have folks bonded in our district, even though state statute doesn't require that anymore. So in order to continue to carry our rider, we're going to have bonded employees, including the blanket bond. You can see the addition there on the policy.
Okay, need a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Tom, second by Brenda to approve an amendment to policy DH. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next, consider approval of the revision to policy GCBDK and GDBDK, funeral bereavement leave, second reading.
Yep, just over time. We know that we have lots of aunts and uncles that people are close to and want to see, and takes out the interpretation for the superintendent or anybody else to say that an aunt or uncle is a familial type relationship. So we're just spelling it out in there.
No changes from first
Nope.
reading. Okay, need a motion, please?
So moved.
Moved by Tom,
Second.
second by Brenda to approve GCBDK and GDBDK on second reading. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next, consider approval of the revisions of policy GCL, professional staff development opportunities, second reading.
No changes here as well. We still want to remove that last paragraph.
Need a motion, please?
Second.
Moved by David, second by Ashley to approve the revisions to policy GCL. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, consider approval of the revisions to policy KG, use of school facilities, second reading.
Chairman Core, we did research your suggestion from last time. The attorneys are still expressing a desire for the word may in there. We left it in there. We also made the change at the bottom of the policy. So thank you for consideration on second reading here.
Need a motion, please?
So moved.
Moved by Brenda, second by David to approve the revisions of policy KG, second reading. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, consider approval of the revisions to policy EFAB, procurement policy and procedures, first reading.
Yeah, public entities such as ours out for goods and services with taxpayer dollars. This is a very important policy that quite frankly, I'm not an attorney, but this thing has been reviewed extensively. And this is our assurance that we are using taxpayer funds appropriately, getting the best bang for our buck. And this is an important policy for Chris's office and for all of us to follow as we buy those commodities and buy those services and work with contracts.
It's a long policy.
Yes, it is.
Took me 15 minutes to read through it. I need a motion to
There were
approve.
a lot of changes that made sense.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, very good. And I need to give some kudos to Hickey and Evans because they worked with Mary and I closely
Yeah,
on
this
this.
couldn't have been
and
easy.
It is a good one.
Yeah. All right, need a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Tom, second by Brenda to approve the revisions of policy EFAB, first reading. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, consider approval of revisions to policy EGAB, inspection and copying of public records, first reading.
Thank you, board, for your consideration on the first reading. Policy as is, we are doing a little bit of research. Super 8 did request maybe a little higher price on the cost of copying those records. And so we're in the midst of doing that research to see if there's some sort of requirement that we can't go too high on a request for a public record. But Super 8 felt like the rates that we put in this policy needed to be bumped up a little bit. So thanks for your consideration on a first reading. In a month from now at the second reading, I'll update the board on the recommendation for the rates, if we can go higher or not.
Okay, I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ashley, second by David to approve the revisions of policy EGAB, inspection of copying and public records. Comments? Just make sure you don't go too high to discourage people from wanting public records. We can get in trouble. Oh, not in trouble, but we can get some flack over it.
Yeah, and the amounts that you see in here is a recommendation from Copenhagen's office, obviously the WSBA attorneys, and Super 8 was well aware of that as well. So we just have to find an appropriate
And
amount.
we need to be fair, but
Exactly.
to the taxpayers. All right, any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next, consider approval of the new policy EFAB-E, self-certification for procurement policy and procedures.
And we, again, in response to state statute, Chairman Core, you can find this policy and you're waiting for you in your mailbox sometime next week for you to sign that thing.
Okay, need a motion, please?
So moved.
Moved by Brenda, second by David to approve the new policy EFAB-E. Any questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, next up, superintendent board
Thank you.
comments. Thank you, Dr. Fruce. Next up, superintendent board comments. Before we go on, unofficially, it's official. Well, it's unofficial. Ashley, Danny, and Tom all reelected to the school board. That's what I've been told. So congratulations. Good to have you on board. That's an unofficial what I was told. So I've screwed that up before on the radio, so don't take it to the bank yet. Mark, would you like to start tonight?
Sure. Thanks for everybody's hard work. Can't believe we're going into the holiday season already. It's kind of crazy. Everybody have a safe, good Thanksgiving.
Okay, thank you. Ashley?
I just wanted to say, good job to all the elementary schools. I heard from a lot of little kids on how excited they were that things were back to normal this year. They got to have their parades through the hallways and see everyone's costumes. So thank you for celebrating with them. Mr. Mickelson and Lincoln, congratulations and good job. You guys are doing amazing things there with the kids. So thank you. I
And Leah, thank you for following up with that. It just makes me so happy. That was like 3 years ago that I heard about it, and we had a conversation about how she had talked, First Lady Gordon had talked about how kids who are hungry just can't learn as well. And so we had talked about that. So thank you for following up on that. I'm excited to hear that that's going on. And thank you to everyone who voted for me. Thanks.
You're welcome. David.
Thanks for everything everybody's doing. It's good to come and feel the energy that you bring to these meetings, and we appreciate all you do.
Absolutely. All right. Dan. Can I call you Dan or you like Danny?
It don't matter.
Okay. I'm not calling you Mr. Flom. You're not old enough.
No, I don't really have anything. Just be safe for the holiday. I do know a lot about the Lincoln program, obviously, because my wife's part of it, but I'm glad that they're doing that. And also with the Monroe's kids. Other than that, yeah, thank you guys.
All right. Thanks. Brenda.
Great presentations tonight. It's nice to see all that's going good in our district. Nice recognition. I did want to announce that at the WSBA board meeting a couple weeks ago, we have 3 directors that are leaving us. One from Cheyenne, who was carrying because she's been threatened. So I am very thankful for the district that we live in, but she wasn't rerunning. So we're losing Roseanne Million Rennie. Also from Wheatland, area director Beth Hendon, and then area 19 director Janine Bateski. So we will lose.
Is Janine running again or is she just getting off? She did, she's not running? Great school board member.
Yeah. She's
Big advocate for kids. That'll be a loss.
It's going to be a big loss for us in Cheyenne. So
Yeah.
we need to,
She's a go-getter.
yeah. So just wanted to be aware of that.
All right. Good luck next week. Appreciate your effort. Thomas.
Okay, well, we talked about Colleen Seeloff, and she's turned the swim program around. I mean, not just around, but it's in an amazing place. But Rick Barker has done absolute amazing things with the divers. So for many years, you remember back, we didn't score a single point.
Never.
in
Didn't have diving.
until Rick took this over. And a good part of why we're competitive 5 years in a row is because of the work he's done with the diving program.
Tom, I don't know if you knew this, but Zella is only the 3rd ever Green River diver to win women's diving.
Wow.
And I think the last time it happened was in the 90s. Remember Tara Walker?
Yeah.
She won it back in the 90s. So it's been a long time. So that's saying something right there.
Yep. So he's done a great job. Hats off to the best program at Washington. And you know what I'm talking about. They don't get paid enough money. So hats off to those guys. When I did my internship in administration, the thing that scared the living snot out of me was elementary students. And yeah, so anyway, but hats off to the best program. You got a great staff, and they work wonders. So, and then commendation to Natalie Rainey and Ralph Obrey for your quick thinking with the incident at the grocery store. You saved a life. Hats off to you. So you don't go to the grocery store expecting to have to save a student's life. That's it for me.
You took my thunder. I had that on my list. Congratulations, Ralph. Tell Natalie we're proud of him. Good job. Let's see. Brenda and I had the opportunity to go to the Washington School Celebration, and that was a lot of fun. U.S. Senator John Barrasso was in town. He was kind enough to send us a nice picture. So that was neat. I did get a chance to watch a little bit of the award ceremony on Friday. I actually took a picture for Craig. I beat you to the punch. So anyway, again, congratulations to Washington School. That's awesome. You represented Green River very well. I want to thank Joe Hamill and Mrs. Calkins for allowing me to crash their classroom on my granddaughter's birthday. I think she was shocked when I walked in. And I had a chance to talk to them about being a school board member and what it is. And I asked the students, I said, any idea what how much money we have in our budget? $1,000. I go, you gotta go a little higher. 15,000. When I told them 42 million, they went, whoa. And then I told them how much they were worth to the school district and they were like, wow, do we get to keep that money? It was fun. That was a sixth grade class, right? Sixth grade class. Yeah. Good stuff. Thanks for letting me come in and do that. Appreciate that. We have 6 law firms who have responded to our RFP. We have selected 3 to interview, and David and myself and another board member, if they want to. We don't want to get 4 board members, but we could have another one if you want to join us. We'll do the interviews of those 3, and I'm anticipating we'll do it by Zoom because they're all 3 out of Cheyenne, correct?
I think so.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll let you know on a date on that. If one other board member would like to join us, you're certainly welcome to do that. Coming up on December 7th, it'll be round 1 of our premium pay that we are giving to our teachers and our support staff and our administrators. You will be receiving a check on December 7th. The teachers will get $1,000. I assume, Chris, does taxes come out of that? Okay, so $1,000 minus the taxes. Support staff will get right at $500. 10th month administrators will get $1,100. 11-month administrators $1,100, and 12-month administrators $1,300. And that's payment number 1 of 2. We'll have another payment, I believe, in May, somewhere in May. So that's courtesy of your local school board and the federal government for sending us the money. Also, we've got Veterans Day coming up on Friday. Lincoln Middle School is hosting an event. It's at 11 a.m. If you could attend, that'd be great. That'll be in the auditorium. It's open to the public. And the RFQ for our kitchen, we have selected Plan One Architects. The cost was about half from the second person that put in, and that was a company out of Sheridan. So Plan One Architects at $17,000, and the initial kickoff meeting will happen soon with Doug. He'll have that. And also, we've sent out a survey to the community that's a survey to the teachers and staff and communities involved in this. The survey's been sent out. We would really, really like to have your input from the public. So if you would please fill out that survey and get that back to the district by Friday, November 18th. And that's all I have. And you have better, well, I don't know. I think my news of the premium pay was pretty good.
Oh, way better.
What is your, oh, this is way better?
No,
Okay.
yours is
All
way
right.
better.
Okay.
So we have our 12-month employees working over Christmas break in the way that Christmas sits and the first sits. I am recommending that we allow them Friday, December 23rd off, which would be normally a scheduled work day. If you guys are okay with that.
Are you good with that? Mark?
That just means we will shut everything down the day after. Usually they'd be working. Typically, we'd shut everything down the day after students leave.
Have a happy holiday. I like that. Anything else?
No, I just appreciate the way the year's going. Our principals are doing a great job. The hallways. It's fun to be in the schools, and it's fun to see what's going on. And like I told you guys, and I don't know if I told everybody else, but in visiting with the senior, he said, you realize this is our first normal year. As my last year is my first normal year. So Mr. Lake's got a senior, and this will be hopefully their last year will be the closest to normal they get. So we hope to keep thinking. Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. All right. Anything else? I gotta love to do this. Meeting's adjourned.
Nice job, Thomas.